You and me, we gotta talk about the princess. Princess Peach Showtime drops in 2 weeks. The demo is out now, and I got a lot of thoughts. So what's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. Hit that like button if you enjoy these videos. A deeper dive discussion on Princess Peach Showtime. We know the developer, we know how it plays, and we know who it's targeted for, or at least how it seems after the first 30 to 40 minutes. My experience with Princess Peach Showtime started off one way and did morph, but I still have concerns, and so I really wanted to bring them to your attention before you drop $60 on PPS. Now, Princess Peach Showtime is developed by Goodfeel. They made Yoshi's Crafted World, Yoshi's Woolly World, Kirby's Epic Yarn, and Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn. They made games that were all fuzzy and cuddly and collectible. Now, Princess Peach Showtime isn't fuzzy or cuddly, it's got more of an edge to it. Princess Peach is going to be transforming into all sorts of different outfits and modifying not only her moveset, but the gameplay as well. Now, I went into Princess Peach Showtime very excited because Super Princess Peach on the DS was a darn good game. That was a jam. Even though it was about Peach crying and yelling, I mean, she still platformed pretty darn well. And I enjoyed the variety and the touchscreen controls of touching Peach's emotions. Like, I thought it was a well-made game. Princess Peach Showtime is very different, and Princess Peach Showtime, in fact, shares the most with one of the Yoshi games that I mentioned. Kirby's Epic Yarn is a little different because Kirby floats, and Kirby sucks up, and Kirby gets powers. Yoshi and Peach, they're kind of in the same boat. The platforming isn't going to be all that challenging. Yoshi isn't going to take a ton of damage, and neither is Peach. And the attacks are more gentle, throwing eggs or hurling a ribbon. Princess Peach Showtime begins as a very basic affair. It starts off with a jump and a ribbon twirl. And that's about all you can do. Oh, you can strike a pose. Always striking a pose. And striking a pose opens up secret areas where there are, what are those things called? Spotlights. You go to the spotlight and maybe you'll get extra coins. Maybe you'll get one of the medals. You're trying to collect these 10 ribbon medals, 11 ribbon medals, 12 ribbon medals, however many there are per stage. And at least they start off being very obvious. For me, the Yoshi and Kirby type titles, where I get really a lot of enjoyment is going for 100%, going for all the collectibles. Heck, in a game like Mario 3D World, I still loved going for all the collectibles. And I think the Yoshi and Kirby titles I mentioned do a nice job of having like challenging-ish collectibles. So if you want to beat the game, okay, no problem. If you want to go for a full 100%, it's going to take more. Princess Peach Showtime begins by not having you have to work very hard at all for the collectibles. The most difficult collectible was a timed-based one where 3 birds flew at you, and if you couldn't ribbon the birds before they went past, you'd miss out on that medal. But like, you have so much time, you'd have to, if you've played any Mario game, this is going to feel like a breeze. Now, the levels that Peach encounters are obviously going to be quite varied, and we saw that with Sword Fighter Peach being able to slice and dice and dodge, and then Patissier Peach not really being able to attack or jump very high at all, and more fitting into prescribed minigames. With Sword Fighter Peach, it was really, really basic and easy. They try to kind of doll it up and make you think like, oh, you have this dodge, you have this riposte, you can kind of get in there and counter, but in effect, as long as you're button mashing, you basically win, and everything is very, very scripted. Like, you just have to hit the button, and then Peach does a great big jump and lands on the boss, and you slice it up. It's really hard to even call it a boss. That is what it is. It's the end of the stage battle, but it's really not challenging whatsoever. It sort of does feel like my first 3D-ish type game. It's building a bit on a 2D adventure, but there's no platforming really of merit, at least that I've seen thus far. So it's a 3D adventure without what makes 2D really strong. Therefore, it's just very basic. It wasn't until the cake minigame that I said, okay, maybe there's more than meets the eye. Maybe there's a kernel that could carry me forward and justify a $60 purchase. Because up to this point, I was like, Princess Peach Showtime is cute. Peach is a great lead character, but this game is, for me, basic and boring. The cake minigame, though, told a different tale, as it took me 4 or 5 tries to 100% the cake minigame. Now, obviously, Patissier Peach is going to be the only one with this cake minigame, but I was intrigued to see that there's like 1-Patissier, 1-Sword Fighter, 1-Cow Wrangler. So each of the transformations will have multiple stages, and it seems like you're not going to do them in linear chronological order, but rather like go do a sword fighter, go do a patissier, go do a mermaid, come back and do a sword fighter, then go do a cowgirl, then go back and do a patissier. I like that system. I think they can really build on these levels, although the ramp up may seem very slow. The silver lining is this cake minigame that I love because you had to design these cakes. And it actually was a bit demanding. The cakes were spinning, the patterns were a little bit involved, and it felt like an advanced Mario Party minigame, and I really liked it. Now, there were collectibles hidden behind doing this minigame and a cookie decorating minigame to perfection, and that felt way better than just having to look in every nook and cranny. The medals are mostly just hidden around, or if you help turn someone's frown upside down by shaking a ribbon at them, you'll get a medal. This, though, required you to perfect the minigame in order to get all of the medals, and that made me say, oh, this is the good feel that I like, when they're hiding the stuff behind some more difficult challenge in an otherwise easy game. Given that this is a demo, given that this is the start of the game, given who we know the target audience is, it doesn't surprise me that it kicks off very mundane. It's so simplistic, but could this build? Could there be more? And could the transformations actually evolve into something that is far more involved? Because this right here was very basic. Like I said, pose, ribbon twirl, and then like a jump button, and maybe, well, ribbon twirl became sword slash. Even the dodge is the same button as the sword slash. That's how basic it was. But I do wonder if they could expand upon these control sets, upon these objectives, and upon the transformations themselves as the levels progress. And I think the answer is they can. I think this one is going to start off way easier than even the other Good Field titles because they're really trying to target a different audience. They're really trying to bring in even more players to the Switch user base in this final year of the system, and maybe they're potentially misjudging who the big Princess Peach fans are, but they're assuming that, hey, they haven't played a lot of 3D games, they need it to start off simple. I think the transformations, though, can evolve, and we've seen things such as the detective minigame that's more like looking for clues. There is the shinobi ninja minigames that are more stealth-based, and who knows what the later transformations that we have yet to see involve and include. I hope there's a bunch of different minigames, a bunch of variety, and I do hope that some are much more challenging than others. But my big hope is that since you are going back to these plays, right, since you're going back to Patissier, back to Sword Fighter, that they will really build. It will be a bummer and a half if level 2 of Sword Fighter and level 3 of Sword Fighter and what I assume is level 4 of Sword Fighter are all of the same complexity. If that's the case, this purchase will feel bad to me. If they do build, on the other hand, this purchase will feel pretty good. I think the demo is highly recommendable and was a very smart choice because Nintendo now, they have plausible deniability. They say, we gave you a free chance to check it out. If it's not what you expected, that's on you. Play the demo if you want to see what this game is about. But maybe hold out a little hope that there's more behind the curtain, quite literally. Maybe these levels will evolve, and if we trust Good Feel based on the work they've done before, they know how to make things still have some fun and some intrigue for players that are more tenured, right? Players that have played more Nintendo games and that don't need something to hold their hand the whole way through. If the collectibles can be as fun as the freaking cake minigame, if it can be like Mario Party style minigames, different gameplay mechanics, and they build on each other, and Peach is still charming and cute and cool, and there's maybe some fun transformations. I think she's got to transform into a Nintendo character. Samus, Mario, Rosalina even, like, that could be really cool. Give us some strong minigames, some difficult collectibles to 100%, and a lot of variety, and I think this game could become very fun. But I do think there's a subset of people that are going to say this is terrible, and that's okay. It's not made for you, and that's fine. It's fine on both sides. It's fine for you to be pissed off and annoyed, and it's fine for the game to exist as it does. There's plenty of games out there. Millions of games out there. Steam has a laundry list every day. The eShop has new ones every single cycle. There are more games for you to play. I will admit, though, that this year for Nintendo Switch has started off quite easy, quite youthful. And I think that swaps with the upcoming Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door remake, which we know is a much more hardcore game, and the anticipated Metroid Prime 4, which inevitably is going to be a much more hardcore game. Also, if they are going to be bringing back titles like Fire Emblem 4, Twilight Princess, and Wind Waker, those are definitely targeted more towards the core Nintendo gamer. So this year might just be a case of where it's sort of flipped, in that we have the easy, more casual stuff to kick the year off, and then we have the harder core stuff as the year goes on. Maybe it's all too much in one section and not enough in the other, but if it's balanced, I'm okay with it. I do acknowledge, though, that between Mario vs. Donkey Kong, Princess Peach Showtime, it started off a bit easy. Side Order, on the other hand, though, is what you should be going for if you're a core Nintendo gamer and these aforementioned titles don't appeal to you. If you're bummed about Princess Peach Showtime, go play Splatoon 3 Side Order. That is a challenging mode, a super fun mode, and has a ton of replayability, and comes in at a pretty affordable price point with a $25 DLC pack. Splatoon 3 is still a great game, and this now makes the single-player component incredibly strong, and it's one of the coolest things Nintendo has done in a long time. I think Side Order is the strongest Nintendo thing to come out in Q1 for sure, and possibly Q2, depending on if we get a really nice Paper Mario remake. Princess Peach Showtime is running on Unreal Engine 4. It looks good. It runs pretty well, at least on docked mode, and I liked what I played of it, but it did not sell me until I saw that cake minigame. If it wasn't for me retrying that cake minigame 3, 4, 5 times obsessively, I would give the Princess Peach Showtime demo very low marks. I do hope it's a case that it starts off very easy and ends up building, and maybe word of mouth can share like, hey, this game gets a whole lot better as you go. Otherwise, this demo and the early impressions are going to sink this one for a large percentage of the Nintendo audience. And that kind of stinks. I do think, in a way, Peach deserves more, but I can see why Nintendo targeted this type of game and this audience for their Princess Peach full $60 adventure. I think you have a little more wiggle room with Super Princess Peach, because that was a $30, $40 DS game, and it's not coming in at full value. This, though, needs a larger audience. And while that sounds weird, I think the gamers that want a hardcore Peach game are probably still smaller than the gamers that want a easier Peach game. And think about all the kids and everybody that went to see the Mario movie that wants something fun to play. This game is going to be super appealing. And you got to think about it from the standpoint that this is a super-powered heroine going in and transforming, doing all different things, shirking the crown, and becoming a multitude of heroes. And I think that's a really cool idea and a really cool game concept for Nintendo to push. I'm glad they're doing it. It doesn't have to necessarily be for me, but there's a morsel there. And if I believe in good feel and what they've done in the past, Princess Peach Showtime still may be worth a pickup. I hope this has given you some good insight into the game, how I feel about it, what is there, what isn't there, what could be there. At face value, a very easy title with simplistic controls to introduce younger gamers and newer gamers to a wide variety of mechanics that maybe can then translate to other games. Oh, you like stealth? Well, maybe you could play a different stealth game. Oh, you like combat? Well, try like Hyrule Warriors. Oh, you like platforming? Even though our platforming is basic, try Mario. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there's more there. Maybe the little shooting section will get you to try out Splatoon. Like, it's kind of a bridge game, right? It's growing you into other titles. I just hope the collectibles back it up for people like me that want to play it for the fun, to see the variety, to enjoy Princess Peach as a title lead character, but need some difficulty too. So let me know your take in the comments down below. Are you going to pick up Princess Peach Showtime, or are you skipping this one out? Have you played the demo? If so, what are your thoughts? Do you think good feel can add difficulty as the game progresses? Let me know. In the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. Love you lots. SwitchForce out.